Cabochons come in all types of shapes, and sometimes they just don't seem to fit into a bezel. Wire wrapping is the solution that allows you to create that perfect customized setting. I'm Jude, a jewelry designer at Fire Mountain Gems and Beads, and I'm here to show you how. So what you're going to need is some 21 gauge square sterling silver wire and 26 gauge half round wire, also sterling silver, and some painter's tape. It's used because it doesn't leave any residue and it's easily removed. So we're going to measure the cabochon to be able to start to know how long I need to cut my wire. So first I'm just going to tear off a piece of random painter's tape, and I'm going to trim it down to a little bit, maybe over a ½ inch. And I'm going to take it and put it around the cab so it sticks, so you don't have to wrestle with it too much, and it's not going to leave any residue. And I'm going to put it around there, and I've got my size right there. Tear it off. And this turns out to be about 2 inches. So what I want to do is have enough wire that's going to be able to wrap around the cab and be able to work. So I'm going to go about 2 inches, larger than that 2 inches on either side. So I've got that wire, and I'm going to cut 3 of these the same length. And if you find that your wire has gotten bent or misshapen, you can take it and actually use a wire straightener like this or like this to get your wire so that it's straight and easy to work with, and you don't have to waste your wire. So, doesn't have to be totally perfect, just pretty close. And we've got our lengths at 7 inches to have enough wire to be able to work around my cab. And then what I'm going to do is make pre-cut half round, and I'm going to go about 2 inches. And I'm going to need 4 of them. The idea is to have everything cut and done before you start wrapping stuff, because you're not going to have a free hand to be able to do it later. And that's why I have my tape. Actually, I'll take my painter's tape and pre-tear it, so I have enough pieces that are going to be able to be used to hold my wire steady. So once I take that, I'm going to kind of eyeball the center there, and that's where I'm going to put my first piece of tape. And I'm going to hold these square wires so they're nice and flat towards each other, and I'm going to put that tape right on there and have it hold it. And then I'm going to get some tape on so again, I want to kind of eyeball it and see where I can go. I think about here. And again, I'm putting my tape on there, and I want to try to get it as flat as possible. And of course, wire wants to roll all over the place. So I've got this holding, and so then I'm going to take my half round and I'm going to look at that and put the flat end up along the wire, the square wire, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it up as tight up against that wire and then start wrapping it around. Now, as you can see it, this is why we put that tape on there. And so I'm holding it and I'm getting it as tight as possible and I'm getting it as close as possible, and I'm going to make the same amount of turns with the half round wire. And I usually do about 4. So 1 more. And I want this to end on the back side because I don't want to have it looking like it's not finished off. But what I've got though too is it's tight on there, but it slides so that I can position it around the center of the cab. So I'm going to take and with my wire cutters and then as close as possible. Okay, so I've got that, and then I'm going to take my flat nose wire and I'm going to kind of just gently press it in and get that, so you can see how it's not even with the other one, so I want to try to get that bent up in there. There we go. And then I'm going to take another one and put it on the other side. Again, looking at it and getting that flat side up against there. So I've completed putting on all 4 of my half round wire, and I've positioned them from the center one I put on the outside of this from the center and inside of this set of tape. And they're all, well, sliding. And I'm going to now start shaping the wire around the cabochon. And actually what I can do is I can remove, I'm going to remove this inside tape here because we've got it held pretty tightly with the wire. So I'm going to hold that around there and start shaping it. And I'm going to move these to inside right there, so I'm kind of positioning that. And I want to move my other ones down. So I have so I'm getting that shape around there. There we go. And now that I've got that, what I'm going to do, it's rough, I'm going to take and start separating this wire. And we just gently kind of pull it apart like that. I use my fingers. Some people might want to use some pliers. And I'm going to put that cab in there, and now what I want to do is pull, I'm going to pull up that wire and flip it over for my back. and try to keep that right in the middle there. There we go. So I've got that. Now what I'm going to do is start shaping it. And I'm going to take my, I'm going to start on the back side. I'm going to take my flat pliers and I'm going to take and get it so that we have it so it'll hold that cab once everything's all wrapped together. I've got that side. Now we're going to do the front. And there we go. And you can come back and shape it a little bit more once you got your other pieces in position. So we've got that, and I'm going to get that in there and then slide. There we go. All right, there we go. You want to do this part, pulling this wire out, because what you're doing is, if you don't do this first and you start putting the bail part together, you're going to come up short. Because this is taking up your wire. Okay, so sometimes you really have to wrestle with these pieces, and the outcome and the finished product is well worth the little bit of playing with the wire. Okay, so now that we've shaped our wire around the cab and I've gently pulled this up around there, I'm ready to start working on making my bail. And so what I'm going to do is cut a little bit longer piece of the half round. That looks about good. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to leave a little tail out here. And I'm going to start wrapping this around, and I'm going to try to pull as tight as possible. I'm just going to do a couple of times. Now this is not going to show on the front side because this is, there we go. So I've got 3 wraps. I'm going to leave that tail there for a while. And now that that's held tightly, I'm ready. I can take this tape off. And what I'm going to do is you can use a pencil if you want. I've got these rubber pliers. And I'm going to take, and actually what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to take and fold out like this, and I'm going to use these two to create the bail. And you can put those forward a little bit out of the way. And I'm going to take that down there, and I'm going to fold that around, and I've created, so that will be my bail, and I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to take my half round, and I'm going to start wrapping around it again. And I'm going to try to keep it as tight as possible. And get nice and neat in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over on the sides there, and then what I want to do is clip in there so we have a nice finished look. Oops, I don't want to cut the other one though. So now what I've left with is I've got these to be able to create a nice, unique, customized pendant. So, and on the backs, what I can do is take, I'm going to snip it off just a little bit, and I'm going to take my round nose pliers and create a backing for this. So what I'm going to do is take it and curl it up. There we go. So I have a nice, so your back looks nice and finished. And then I have the opportunity here now to create a nice little swirl. I don't want to cover up my cab too much but I also can do things, and then I can just kind of play with it. See what I can come up with here. So one of the options is you can actually string beads on this to create some more texture. I can take and use my round nose pliers. Let's trim it off a little bit here. And I can take and create nice little swirls, little interest here. So you're just playing around with it and just until you get it right where you one of them is a unique little project. There you go. So there we have it. You can kind of just place it around there. And so we have our little swirls, and we have a nice finished pendant. So there you have it. For more information on this and other wire wrapping projects, visit our resource center at firemountaingems.com.